y'all? We back at it again. Another hot review for you. Drams on deck. Today, we got something special in the building. Today, we got the Cincora Añejo Tequila. Yes, sir. I'm going to give you a nice 360 of the bottle here. Has a nice thick top, even a thick bottom. The bottle's pretty heavy, I'll give you that. Very nice presentation. It's 40% ABV, 100% de agave. It's not blue agave, but it's 100% de agave. I believe the reviews I read that this is a 23-degree angle for Jordan, which is one of the part owners of this particular line right here. So we have another guest in the building. Today I'm in Ohio that's my roots, is where I'm from. I'm here with my uncle, here for the 2020 holidays in the building. Introduce yourself, Uncle.
Name's Kelvin. I've been watching Drams on Deck ever since he told me he was doing it. I enjoyed the reviews, and I told him I'd like to be a guest either the next time I'm out in California or he comes home. So he came in town, and he said, hey, we can do that this weekend before I leave. And here we are.
Yeah, you know. He was going to come out to Cali. He ain't keeping it. He was supposed to come out to Cali, but he's scared of this epidemic and, you know, obviously COVID, so he decided to stay in the state. So that's fine. So I came here. So now we're here. We're doing a review. And actually, he actually, believe it or not, he has some hidden gems around here. He got some couple things here that, like, okay, that's some different things. So he had this in girl. I actually had tried to sample this one time. Not the name. It was a reposado. We call it a repo. I had it in store, and I had mixed reviews of it. So he actually happened to have this particular one here. I'm like, okay, let's jump on this. So that's why we're doing it. So we here, Cleveland 2020, and we're going to nose it, taste it, and we're going to score it. By the way, this one right here is pretty new. I think this is an up-and-coming line. These are pretty pricey. Usually, an Añejo is around 2 years old. Usually, the ballpark for entry-level an Añejo, give or take, it depends, but anywhere from $50 to around $75, $80 is just a general ballpark. Tell them how much you pay for this, huh?
I paid $140. Now you refer to this as an entry level as far as time based?
Entry level meaning that, so certain lines, for example, Hirador or even Patron, they have entry level. So they have the entry level Classic 3, the Añejo, the Blanco, and the Añejo. Usually, but when you get to a certain level, they may have they have the Roca Patron, and they have their older lines. So they'll say this is the only line that I know of that for Cincora. They have sometimes they have another line they have the same three: the Blanco, the Reposado, and the Añejo. That's on a higher level, maybe more aged, or they may do a different process. But that's what I mean by that.
All right.
And how much was this on?
About $140.
Wow, so $140. That right there, that is pretty pricey for a 2-year-old tequila. I will say the presentation's nice and whatnot. We're going to dive into the notes and see exactly what our opinion of it is and if we think that it's a justifiable price for what we actually are getting. But just off the bat, when we're just talking about just normal price time, this, that's a little bit pricey. So we're going to see if it lives up to the hype in just a second. So that being said, let's jump on this nose and let's see what we got.
Alrighty.
No, we poured this about maybe 5-10 minutes ago. We let it open up, so that kind of let it oxidize, so we can really dive into it. Right here, I'm smelling off the top. Like I don't really pick up much agave, which you normally pick up with tequila, but I pick up some honey, some vanilla. It smells like maybe a stewed apple, like a stewed fruit or something around smells, dried or stewed, but it's very faint. I don't pick up a lot of oak or agave, the plant on here, mostly just like the nice sweetness to it. Not even the alcohol smell mostly. It's just mostly vanilla, a little bit of honey, and that stewed fruit is what I pick up. How about
the same for me. It's not really a potent smell to it. It's pretty smooth. Little bit of fruity smell, kind of lightweight, not overwhelming, but a little bit. The honey and a little bit of vanilla, but as I say again, it's not potent. It's just kind of lightweight.
Yeah. Some of those, if you ever nose like a barrel proof whiskey, some of the bourbons you may sit at 60%. When you put your nose in it, or even a peated whiskey, when you can smell the peat from 3-4 feet away. With this, you put your nose in this, it's not abrasive. It's not very pungent all up in there. It's very, very nice mount tone. So, but yeah. That being said, jump on this palette and see what we got.
We can do that.
Wow. Has a nice sweetness to it.
Very good.
This one right here is a nice one. I give you that. The one thing that's surprising to me about this, though, even though it's still good, is I don't pick up same with the nose. I don't pick up the agave plant. You know, when you get a younger tequila, you could taste that plant. This I don't. It's very faint. I don't really pick it up. And usually those are we would say extra in that. You know, like things are aged like 3 years or older. This one right here, the agave is very faint, but it still good though. I like the flavors, but when I say sweetness, just imagine a nice, almost like a sweet tea, almost like this nice sweetness to it. You get the honey, vanilla. It is very, very nice sweetness. So if you're a type of person, but obviously all the sweetness that I'm tasting is very similar to maybe a Clase Azul, something on that level. There's something called Cava de Oro. If you ever had that before, that's the sweetest tequila I probably ever had in my life. This is not as sweet as that, so it's not on that level. But you could tell that the sweetness doesn't come from perhaps natural barrel aging. They might have added additives, agave sweetener to it to make it a little bit more sweet.
What do they use for their sweeteners?
It depends. Sometimes it's agave sweetener. It's almost like a honey looking thing.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I know they use. The other things they may use that I'm maybe not knowledgeable enough to know, or they don't put it out. But I do know is that this something's been added to it to make it more sweeter than normal. But it's still good though. There are people who don't like that. Those people who only like the straight agave. They don't like it sweet. They like it organic as it comes. Everything they just want it straight organic.
Traditionalists.
So this right here is almost equivalent. If you ever had, from my bourbon guys, a lot of people who love bourbon, there are a lot of bourbons that are finished in aged sweet wines or dessert wines to make it sweeter than normal, which is what they call it finished bourbon. Some of the bourbon aficionados don't like that. Some of they call traditional bourbons. They don't like that. They say I don't like that. That's because in their mind it's almost like it's something that is just to them is a mixed drink and not a true additional authentic bourbon. So it just depends on what your preference is. If my suggestion to you before you fork up $140, I would suggest trying a pour at your local bar, restaurant, lounge, etc. And maybe try it and just as a shot, maybe $20 a shot. I would imagine this $140 bottle. I would imagine the shot would be at least anywhere $25 to $35 in that ballpark. I would imagine for a $140 bottle. And it's Michael Jordan. So anything that comes with a niche or I would say a celebrity and endorsement tend to have a higher price point. That's just a guess. Maybe try it at a local port first to see if you like it. But just so you know, it's gonna be a additional sweetness to it. And it's just, so just FYI, if that is your taste wheelhouse, I think you would definitely enjoy this. But back to you get on the notes.
All right. Well, before I get to that, I just want to say, in the purchase of that, oftentimes you there's certain things you like, and certain things you try along the way, and you might not be so crazy about. I tried it. I'm not disappointed. I think it's very good. But let's just say if I was on the mission to restock my tequila and I was out of it, that probably wouldn't be the first thing I purchase. There's others I've tried that I probably like a little better. And saying that does not diminish this as a product or the taste. It's very good. But there's just others maybe for the purchase I like a little better. I think I got a better deal.
I feel like he can get more bang for his buck.
Yeah. And on the same token, you may like it better than I do. So maybe that might be top of the line on your level. So everybody needs to try it. But as far as the notes, taste overall, I think it's very smooth. I love the sweeter taste to it. It's not overwhelming. Maybe some type of, apple taste or something along that way. It reminds me of going down. But it doesn't leave a lasting taste in your mouth once you drink it down. You taste it for a little bit and it goes
finish.
away. Yeah, it doesn't leave a lasting finish. Yeah, it's kind of short. But overall, I think it's very good. If I was to rate it, 1 to 10, I would probably give it an 8. I'd give it an 8. Solid 8.
Store.
Honestly.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
How about you?
Honestly, for me, this is one of those things that, as we was talking about earlier, the presentation is beautiful. I love the shape of the bottle, the thickness of it, the cork. So to me, a lot of times people enjoy presentation. Sometimes presentation factors into people buying things, you know, because they like centerpieces of their particular their collection on their bar type. So this is a nice centerpiece. So for me, that being said, sometimes that factors in the price. So, but I normally start with just I'm gonna score this. I'm gonna judge it on just taste alone. So I'm not gonna factor in the price just yet. So for me, judging this 1 to 10, 10 being the best, taste alone, I personally get a 8.5 out of a 10 for me on this one, because I believe that this right here, the taste profile is similar to Clase Azul, which is one of my favorites. So taste alone, I give it an 8.5 out of a 10 because I like the smoothness of it. It's an easy sipper. It doesn't need water, and it's an easy drink. It's something that you can just, I mean, we can almost kill this bottle all night and just be good. Like it just goes down pretty easy. Now the caveat to that is this. The price. When you factor in price and availability, though it is very available, you don't have to call or hunt this down. It's not a rare or limited edition bottle. But when you factor in the price, $140 for a 2-year-old tequila, it's contemporary, as I stated earlier, it's usually between $50 to maybe $75, $80. So for $140, that's almost double. So in my opinion, I think that it is overpriced. Like he said earlier, I've had Avion 44. I reviewed that. In my opinion, I didn't do it side by side or blind taste. However, I can tell you that I prefer that more than this. You have 1942, which is probably much in the same ballpark. Don Julio. You got the Jose Cuervo La Familia. Just to name a couple. There's also the Dos Artes, Enano. That's another contemporary. Those are usually all, you know, well, that particular one is $100. So in my opinion, I'm going to have to knock it down from an 8.5 to a 7.5. Based upon, I think that is overpriced. I think a good price for this, based upon the presentation, I think if it was priced $75 or even $80, I think that'd still be decent. So for me, even I would probably, if you gave it to me for $90, I probably wouldn't buy it regularly. But if you gave it to me for $90, I probably would still buy one, maybe a 2-year. But for $140, that's overpriced. So for me, all around, factoring in the price, availability, taste, I'm gonna have to give it a 7.5 out of a 10 for Drams, because I just think that the price point is a far bit steep than I think that the juice itself can give me. Where I can get something that's just as good, if not better, for less than what I'm getting charged for this. That's just my personal opinion. But as always, try it for yourself. Regardless of my opinion, always try yourself. So try your neighborhood, local bar, restaurant. Try a pour first before you invest in $140. If that's something that's in your taste wheelhouse, I would definitely say go for it. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, 7.5 out of a 10 is still a very good score. So something worth trying at least. So that being said, we greatly appreciate it. If you like that, hit the like button, subscribe button, likes and subscribe for free. For me, my aunt, signing off. Happy holidays. Drams on deck. Yes, sir.